I'm about to tell you why you can't finish your yoga practice, and it has nothing to do with how busy you are. In the middle of your practice, your brain screams, "Oh my gosh, you've got to order that thing on Amazon that's like 20% discount." And you get up, you scroll, and you buy, and the next thing you know, you've lost your flow, you've lost your breath, and you give up. And this happens because you haven't trained the one skill that actually protects you from impulsivity everywhere else in your life. In this video, I'm going to explain to you why your daily yoga practice, the thing that you do every morning, is the ultimate training ground for you to conquer your impulses. And if you're new here, I'm Sushmita, but you can call me Sushi. And on this channel, I help you master your mind through yoga. And for the last decade, I've been helping people who keep abandoning their yoga practices, and I help them establish a consistent home yoga routine using my yoga mastery program. It's a 12-month Yoga Alliance certified program, but don't impulsively click that right now before you finish watching this video, because I'm going to break down the exact chronology of impulsive action and the 5 practical techniques that I use to catch myself before I derail. Awesome, so let's dive right in. So first thing you need to know is that your yoga practice isn't just about getting more toned or reducing your lower back pain or all those things that people promise you. Your mat is actually a training ground for your mind. And every time you stay, even when your brain wants to run, you're building that muscle that stops you from texting your ex or stops you from buying your entire cart at 2 a.m. or doom scrolling at midnight. And if this feels like a personal attack, good, because the algorithm sent you here for a reason, so watch to the very end because it knows you and it knows that you struggle to control your impulses. So first thing we need to know is we need to understand what drives us into impulsive action. And the thing that drives us into impulsive action is our emotions. And the problem is, these days, we believe that expressing all our emotions is kind of like our birthright. If we don't express all our emotions, somehow we're repressing them and it's a bad thing. And I hate to be the one that breaks it to you, but that uncontrolled, just emotional stuff is what's destroying your ability to reach your goals. And I'm not saying emotions are bad. So let's say you're at point A and this is kind of where you are right now, and you want to reach point B, and this is this future state that you're really desiring. This is where your life feels better, your body feels light, and you've got all the calmness in the world. And between where you are right now and where you want to be, there's this whole minefield of emotions that are trying to pull you off track. It isn't whether or not you're going to feel these emotions, because trust me, you will. Even if you think you've mastered your emotions, they're what makes us human, right? So it's not a bad thing to have emotions. But what kind of derails us from getting to our goals is these ungoverned, uncontrolled emotions. So really the question that you have to ask yourself is, do I have the strength? Do I have the tenacity to choose actions that move me in the direction of my goal rather than away from it? And really, if you can do that every single step of the way, you're going to reach your goal faster than you know, and you're not going to allow these emotions to kind of derail you. Because when you act impulsively on every single feeling that bubbles up in your mind, you begin to leak energy, you begin to feel stagnant in your mind, you begin to feel bloated and not feel good in your body, and you wake up and it's 6 months later and nothing's changed, you're exactly where you are. And in a way, it's like a naraka or a hell, and you want to get out of it, right? That's probably why you're still watching this video. So let's break down the exact chronology of action and how to stop impulsive action. And these are the 5 practical techniques that I use. So just make sure that you write them down and only begin with one. Don't get overwhelmed with all the 5 different techniques. Just remember, when I tell you the 5 techniques, choose one, master it, then choose the other one. In yogic philosophy or Vedanta philosophy, there's this concept called a vasana. Now, a vasana is kind of like an unconscious drive. Carl Jung also calls these as unconscious drives, but basically it's something that's sitting beneath the surface, and it bubbles up as a thought, and then that thought gathers force and it becomes a desire. A desire is something like, oh, I want a flashy car. But the thought is, oh, I want to feel I want to feel like that other person who's driving that fancy car, and the unconscious drive, or the thing that's underneath it, is maybe something about status or power or control. And so we must understand that we all come into this world with some unconscious like drives or vasanas. These aren't completely entirely like up to us, but we came in with them. So because they're sitting underneath the surface, we only see what we're drawn towards and what we end up doing, which is the action. And so all our desires drive us to act. And emotions kind of are like the fuel for this like driver towards action. And the thought, when it gathers force, sometimes it's so strong that even a small, like, even if you force yourself and you say, okay, I don't want this thing, I just want to sit here and not want it, it's often too strong a wind. That gust of wind just blows you into action. And when we're not paying attention, that desire drives action. And this is what happens when we are impulsive. So let me break it down for you one more time, just so that we're clear. The sequence is, you have a vasana, or an unconscious drive, that then manifests as a single thought. That thought then gathers force into more and more and more thoughts, where you loop around that thought and it becomes a desire when you keep thinking about it. And then that desire then drives action. And action is your behaviors, is the way that you function in the world. And so we end up just looking at our actions instead of questioning, where did this action come from? What was the original thought that I had that grew and gathered force that then created this action? So let's not worry about the vasanas for now. We're only concerned about what we can control, which is our thoughts, our desires, and our actions. So when you're on the mat and you suddenly need to order that thing on Amazon, that's not random, that's not like, someone's out to get you. It's just this chain reaction is happening, and it's faster than your awareness can actually catch it, and whether you can do something about it depends on how much access you have to this chronology of action. So how do you know that you've acted impulsively? You can't stop it when it just has that much force. So what can you do afterwards? So as the experiencer, as the bhokta, as they say, you have to notice how you feel afterwards. So if you've abandoned your practice and you've checked your phone, or you've gone off and eaten something, you should feel a little bit of disappointment in yourself. You'll feel frustrated, you'll feel a little bit defeated, and all of these kind of negative emotions or aftertaste of just feeling those are all just feedback signs that you weren't in your driver's seat, that you weren't aligning your actions to that end goal, to reaching point B. And so because your impulses took over, the result or the feeling of the aftertaste is kind of negative emotions, feeling of frustration, feeling defeated. So watch out for these. When you notice these coming up, be like, wait a minute, what did I do that created this feeling in me? And if you do this, it actually feels like taking radical responsibility for your own life, and you stop blaming external circumstances. You just see, what is the cause, what did I put in, and okay, what am I experiencing now? But the good news is, you don't just have to sit with those negative emotions and be like, oh gosh, now I'm just gonna be here. The good news is that you do have control. And as humans, we can debate about free will for endless hours, but between the thought and the action, between the time that you thought of the thing and when you just acted on it, there is a pause. And in that pause lies your power. I'm sure you've heard this before, but it cannot be truer, because in that little medium ground between when a thought comes up, the first thought comes up, and between you just acting on it because of a strong desire that already exists, you actually have choice. And in this choice, I'm going to give you just 5 principles or 5 techniques that you can apply to kind of help you understand what to do when you have a thought, and how to stop manifesting it into action that'll impulsively, derail you away from the practice and make you feel bad and disappointed and frustrated and all of those things. So let's dive into number 1. And the first one is consequence awareness. I wish someone told me this, but it's kind of like you're tricking yourself into instilling a little bit of fear inside yourself. You're not going to get a trophy or anything if you practice. You're not going to get abs tomorrow if you practice today. But if you don't practice, if you skip your practice, or you believe that you can practice tomorrow, then you'll experience this kind of mental hell, or this naraka like I was talking about. You'll have low mood, you'll act on every other impulse during the day, you'll eat a lot of sugar, you'll feel scattered, and you won't be able to concentrate your mind. And it's almost like a punishment for skipping your morning practice. And there's no big reward that you're going to get. It's just that before you step on the mat, I want you to remind yourself, if I don't do this practice, If I don't show up for myself in the morning, then I'm gonna feel shitty, I'm gonna snap at everyone around me, I'm gonna not be able to work as effectively as I want to. And so I must do my practice because I know the consequences of not doing my practice. Okay, awesome. So let's go into 2. Number 2 is intellectual conviction. And you really have to take time to study and understand why you're doing this practice in the first place, right? If you're going to dedicate time and resources and energy and stick with this for a whole lifetime, you should understand why this practice matters to you. And it's not just once where you read all the books and then you forget about it. You've got to do this repeatedly. You've got to build Shraddha. You've got to build faith in this practice through reading about it, journaling about it, talking about it, listening to talks around it. And this happens gradually over time because then your faith in the thing that you're investing so much time in actually forces you to it's like a sunk cost, you've put so much time and energy into understanding it, so you might as well just practice and apply it. And without that understanding, we often just become mechanical executors of this practice, and then 3-4 years down the line, we get bored with it and we shift to the next shiny object. So your intellect needs to be convinced. It needs to know, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And even when that impulse comes, even when that thing that wants to derail you and go off to doing a hot yoga class tomorrow or a yin yoga class day after, okay, there's a part of you that knows. I know that I've chosen Ashtanga because this is a set sequence, it's structured, I don't have to run around, get an exclusive gym membership. I know I can do this from my home. So really, second one is intellectual conviction. I hope you're following. What was number 1? Consequence. Number 2? Intellectual conviction. Number 3, and this one is cool because between the receipt and the response, there's a little pause, and in that pause lies your power, right? So this is number 3, where you actually learn how to elongate that pause. And this is the most practical one. Before we start classes, we do the 12 𝐦𝐸 breaths, those slow, controlled, deep breaths to the back of the throat. So when your thought comes up to abandon your mat, don't just give into it immediately. Just pause. You don't need to go into the next asana. Stop doing anything. Sit on your mat, even if it's in Vajrasana or even wherever you're sitting in that pose. Close your eyes and give yourself 12 full 𝐸𝐸 breaths. And when you go nice and slow, you're fighting that immediate urge that's coming up inside of you, and you're just creating enough space or enough of a time gap so that your intellect can check. Is this thing that I'm about to do going to take me towards my goal, or is it going to take me away from it? And because we struggle with decisions when our desires are so strong, it helps to give ourselves some time. It helps to allow this adult part of us, the intellect, to come in and say, oh wait, this is not in line with my goal, so automatically I should just eliminate it. But how do we work with it when it comes up and the impulse is so strong? It's you just don't cooperate with it. Of course it's going to come up. Of course you're going to want to self-sabotage and not do the thing you're supposed to do. But if you just don't cooperate, if you just don't give in, then you'll end up moving closer towards your goal rather than away from it. So that was number 3. Number 4 is to have clear incentives. And this is kind of cool because our brain just doesn't work on sticks, it doesn't just work on punishment. It also needs a few carrots now and again. So your mind needs evidence of how it's working. It needs proof or a running list of reasons why you should still keep practicing. So you should tell yourself, oh look, today I'm more productive at work, or I'm calmer, I'm more relaxed, I'm able to communicate better with my partner. All these things are reasons to keep practicing. And when you can notice these ripple effects in your life, you'll see, oh wait, there's a reason that I should practice. And this serves as an incentive long term for you to keep practicing and not abandon your practice. And this is the last one. This one is the most powerful, but also perhaps the hardest one for us to access. So that's why I reserved it for the last. And this is to turn to the unseen. And this one is, of course, a bit more advanced because it's often easy for us to enter the yoga practice as through a gym or as a physical practice. But sooner or later, you're going to get hit a wall with that, and you're going to know, okay, this is all I can do with just making myself look better. There is something about this practice that connects me to the adrishta, or to the unseen aspects. And these unseen aspects, if you don't believe in God, that's totally fine. This is a secular practice. You can think of your higher self, a future version of yourself, the universe, whatever you want to call it. But if you believe in God, then give it to God. And whenever that impulse comes up, whenever you feel the strong urge to like buy something or text someone or do something else, just tell yourself, okay, I feel this, but I'm going to give it to this higher power. And when you allow that connection to lift you out of your impulse, rather than just like fighting it with sheer willpower, you'll notice, wait a minute, I have more power, I have more lightness, I have more agency than I thought. Because you're not the one doing everything. You're not the one that like white knuckling yourself through this whole practice. You're actually giving away your problems and you're surrendering. I said this was more advanced, so try this after you've done all the other 4. But when you can do this, this is perhaps the most powerful way to let go of the impulse being able to like just immediately drive you into action. And the reason this matters is it matters beyond the mat. It's not just like the 60 minutes you spend on the mat. It's a petri dish. It's like a controlled environment where you can train the skill of like reducing your impulsivity in a low stakes, completely safe environment. Because when you can successfully stay on your mat and you can hold yourself despite your brain screaming at you, despite you wanting to run away, it's that same exact neural pathway that you can use and that you can like kind of translate into not smoking when the urge comes to smoke. Not texting that person when you know you shouldn't be texting that person. Not like eating everything at 2 a.m. and you shouldn't be eating all that stuff. And this is where the yoga mat starts to become like this amazing tool for you to transform your entire life. Because where you train it is on the mat, but where it pays off is in real life. And trust me, I've seen this firsthand working and for hundreds of my students. So I'm not just saying this actually works. Because when you're training yourself to notice the pause and you're choosing consciously, you become this kind of person that aligns yourself with your goals rather than just like impulsively acting on every single emotion or feeling that bubbles up. So start small and just pick one thing to focus on for your next practice. Maybe it's just like focusing on the 12 ujjayi breaths, or maybe it's writing down 3 incentives before you begin your practice. Whatever it is, just by simply doing one of these 5 techniques, you create a little bit of a gap between the thought and the action. And when you choose just one and you don't overwhelm yourself, you'll notice how it ripples out into the rest of your life. So that's all I have for you today. By the way, if you're struggling to control your impulses on your own, sometimes it helps to be a part of a group where I'm watching you and I'm making sure that you're not checking your phone or you're not running away from your mat. So there's a link for that in the description, but there's absolutely no pressure to click it. This isn't like a free habit tracker or like some kind of webinar that doesn't really teach you anything but sells you a $997 online course. It's a page that will hopefully get you to book a consultation with me, where we can have a chat and see if I might be able to help you in just getting more consistent with your yoga practice and finally solve this problem of impulsivity through the Ashtanga yoga routine. And there's no pressure at all. I'm just glad that you watched the video all the way to the very end. So comment below and let me know which one are you going to start with. And if you're enjoying these videos, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because then that tells the algorithm to send you more videos when I make them. And just remember, every single time you stay on the mat when your brain wants to run, when you want to reach for your phone, you're becoming someone who can choose their actions rather than just being guided by their impulses. And that's really important, and I hope you can carry that to the rest of your day. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.